Good evening, everyone. We will go ahead and get started. And the way I want to get this started really is, I want to put you all into recall mode. I want you to imagine or remember a time back in the past when you had something significant on stake, something really big and important. This thing would change your career. It meant a lot for you, right? Now, since it was so significant, you had put a lot of efforts and struggles and investments in time to achieve that because it is so important to you, right? You had left no stone unturned. You have put all your honest effort and tried to be the best as you could be. However, despite all of this hard work, all of your struggles, what you found out was you did not make the cut. You could not achieve what you really wanted to. And what's even funny is that you have been doing so much work to achieve it, and you had done possibly everything that you could do. Now, why did nature do that to you? Why was it so unfair? What's the justification for such a scenario? Why would it even happen? These are all the questions that come up to our mind, and it's completely frustrating, it's devastating, it's depressing, because I have invested so much work to achieve that goal, but I didn't see any reward. So where did all of my hard work go? Where did all the efforts I've been doing go? Did they go down the drain? What did happen to them? And it really inhibits you from moving further if you don't clearly understand where did that hard work disappear, if you don't fully understand where all your efforts have disappeared all of a sudden. So it's really important for us to understand how nature works, especially in cases of failures, to be able to do well at life and to be able to be successful in the long run. And so I want you to first feel such a moment when you had done all the possible efforts but didn't see any rewards. What were your feelings like at that point? Take a moment to think about it. Now, to move forward, before we move to the actual framework, I want to speak about my particular experience regarding a failure first, right? So that I'm vulnerable and we are in a position to be able to connect together. And so I think it's also very significant in terms of explaining what I want to convey. And so it's very important that you pay attention to my example. Now, my story starts 1.5 years from now, back in the past. I had recently joined Georgia Tech, and it's an exciting time, and I'm really excited to be here. And not only that, I have found my new love. Right in the first semester, I have found someone I could spend years and years of my life. I've found someone whose company I enjoy, and I've found someone who I could spend my time with. Now, before you wander off and think about, well, who was the lady? I want to clarify, I'm not talking about a lady. Further clarification, I'm not talking about a boy either. My love and passion was kind of an abstract thing, and I'm talking about something that really motivated me or excited me, and it was basically a discipline in computer science, which is very popular these days as well. And I'm talking about machine learning, which I really got excited about. And so, since I was very interested in exploring it further, what I did was, before I married my new love, I wanted to date with it for a bit. And so, what my mechanism or my strategy for doing that was, I would take most of my courses in the CS program studying machine learning and try to figure out if there is a really good match and try to see if I could really do well at this or if it really suits me very well in the long run. I wanted to evaluate that through a complete semester. I reduced my focus on my current program that I was doing, and I think it was fine doing mostly CS stuff and doing some of my original program, which was bioengineering, because I had still an year to complete my degree. So I had that buffer for that experiment. So I decided what could be better to do possibly all the CS courses that I could do in a semester to really evaluate that well. And also it would really strengthen my application or strengthen my case when I want to make a switch. So my plan was very simple. Take all of these very difficult machine learning classes which did not come natural to me, and it was obviously new, and not only that, it was advanced as well within that domain. But guess what? I did very well at it. The material came very easily to me. I enjoyed it. I understood it very clearly. And so I really started liking it furthermore because I've been doing so well at it. And so at this point I was thinking about I should pursue this further and really make an application to switch to the CS program so I could pursue this new love. I could really get married to my new love. And so during this semester, I had done a lot of effort in preparing my application as well as doing good at those courses so that I make a strong case and make sure I was doing all possible efforts that I could do to achieve my goal. And I felt very positive about it. It came very naturally to me, and I felt I would be switching to the CS program the next semester. It was very obvious, right? Except it was not. Nature really wanted to show what it could do, and you can't really predict the future. So what happened was unexpected and very surprising, and this is summarized in my letter of rejection that I got from the college, obviously saying things like, we had this many number of candidates this time, it was very competitive, and please try back next time, such and such. And there were two interesting things about it. First thing at the bottom was basically signed by one of the professor I was taking classes with, and so I was really surprised because he was the associate dean at that time. It felt like he doesn't even know what people are sending on his name. But besides that, on the top, it came out on 1st April, so I kept thinking about, is this a prank? What are they trying to do with me here? So I did not, I could not absorb it very quickly. It was very hard for me to really accept that. I was thinking, no way, how could this happen? I've already done 1/3 of the program. There is no doubt I could finish the rest. Why didn't I make the cut? Anyways, that was what happened to me. And that was my story of failure. And so, although it was a huge setback for me, it gave me the opportunity to think and reflect back and look at things that have gone wrong or find out possible justifications for such cases in nature. Why would that even happen? Where did all of my struggles go? Where did they disappear? Why did it even happen? Like, what could I have done better? So this is where the framework I wanted to discuss with you today comes in. It's very simple, and there are only 2 blocks in it. I call these the blocks of life. So without loss of generality, anything we do in life can be divided into 2 blocks. First, we have the efforts block. It captures all the efforts, struggles, and investments in time that you do in your life to achieve a particular target, and the target or the outcome of the target pops up through the outcome block. So what happens is you do all of your efforts for a particular activity and you have no control over your outcome as such, especially for non-trivial tasks. You have no control over your outcome, and the outcome pops up. There is a very vague relationship between the two blocks. But really, after some concentration, I was able to figure out what's the exact relationship between these two blocks. It looks vague initially, but what I figured out, it is a stochastic or probabilistic relationship. And it's a very interesting one. It's actually a coin flip between the two blocks. The efforts block probabilistically controls the outcome block. And what really happens is, based on how much effort you have put into the efforts block, nature mints a coin for you whose probability of success really depends upon how much effort you have been putting. So if you have been putting a lot of effort and hard work and struggle for a particular objective, the coin that you get is highly biased in your favor. So it could be something like 90% probability of success, or 95% probability of success, or 99% probability of success. So very high probabilities. However, if you are on the other side and you do not do much effort, your chances of success are very bleak, and you say get something like 30% probability of success or 40% probability of success, and so that's a very risky scenario. However, for even a very strong cases in which we have a highly biased coin in our favor, what we do not realize is that it's a probabilistic relationship. It's a stochastic relationship. What it means is, even with 99% probability of success, the coin flip might go against us. It might go the other way. So we must always be prepared for that to happen. What we start to expect as humans after putting a lot of effort, what we start thinking is that success would be automatic from here, although it is not. It is never automatic. And you always need to leave the room for the notorious coin flip and be prepared for it. Now, this framework is amazing with regards to understanding our key limitation and our vulnerability regarding doing anything at life, because we now realize, we now know for a fact that we are not in control. We cannot really certainly define our outcomes. However, we can decide our chances. That's what we have. So the control we have is really limited to defining our chances, but not to exactly determine our outcomes. This model is also amazing because of the fact that it allows you to look at things going forward into the future and looking backwards into the past. So when you are looking backwards into the past, like we are right now on my story of failure, it is very easy to realize that whatever happened, happened, and it can't really be changed. So what my best strategy could be here is that I accept that failure, I believe that I have failed, I take that as it is, I take my learning objectives from there, I use it as an experience and use it in my further efforts blocks regarding whatever I do. So I take my learning objectives, but do not consider the failure per se as a failure of myself. You could always think about a probabilistic model being involved that did not allow you to achieve what you really wanted to. You could also look at your learning objectives, but never take it personally. Never take a failure personally with regards to there is something wrong with you. No, there is nothing wrong with you. It's just the coin flip probably, mostly when you're looking back. That's your best strategy to go about it. On the other hand, when you're looking forward, what your strategy needs to be is you need to do your best to bias the coin in your favor. You need to make sure it is the most biased coin that you could ever produce. You need to actually put all of your efforts all the time. There is no doubt about that. And then you want to leave it to the coin flip. You don't really want to get in charge of the coin flip because you would never be able to do that. So looking forward, we try our best to improve our chances. Looking backwards, we simply take the results as it is because we cannot change that. Also, we realize that there could be some learning outcomes that could be used. So in the cases of failures, you would realize the learning outcomes or whatever you take out of that failure, that's your very valuable asset. That's your experience. And now for any further activities, any further tasks or jobs in your life, that experience would actually count in your efforts block because that's your previous efforts. So that would be accounted for in your new efforts, and your new efforts would probably have a higher chance than the previous one. So say if you did a task for the first time, you made an efforts block that produced a coin that has a probability of 70% of success. The next time you do it, you had something like 75% of success. And probably if you do it for the third time, you get even better and better. And so this is the way in which any difficult or any impossible looking target in life can be achieved. You start from somewhere, but you keep improving. You keep on creating the next best version of yourself. You keep going on a linear line, you keep improving, and what that ends with is you are in a situation to achieve a goal that previously looked impossible. And that's why this framework is again important when you look at it in iterative measures. You do it first time, second time, nth time. It really takes you to a point when you're able to unlock huge potentials within yourself. So your hard work never disappears, it stays with you. Now, I want to continue my story from where I left to drive the point back home. It is important to see that particular scenario because sometimes we might only get one chance to do well at life. And probably in my situation, that was probably the only time I could continue into the CS program and to be able to finish it. There was no second chance. So what do we do in such situations when we have only one chance to do it right? And so what I recommend at that point is to think out of the blocks or to think out of the box. You want to think about alternative ways in which you could go forward, realizing that you had done this in the past, you had not been able to achieve what you really wanted to, but going forward, what's your best step? And so for example, in my case, I quickly realized that I cannot switch to the CS program. However, I should realize that I'm in a very privileged position. I'm already at Georgia Tech. And if I really want to, I could go and take all of these classes I want and learn all the materials I need to. I don't have to have a degree to do something I really love. So all I need is just go to the classes, take the classes, and learn all the skills I want. And so it was very simple for me to move from there because I realized what matters for me is not the degree, but the skills, right? So in such situations, when you are doing it for once and you don't see any chance of that happening for the next time, what you need to really consider is that you want to look at your alternative strategies going forward. But this model is again helpful looking backwards because it tells you you cannot change your past and it might have been a coin flip. So it gives you the confidence to go forward. It allows you to do your best even in the future despite having no reward previously. It allows you to continue to do well at life. It allows you to keep going even when you're seeing your no rewards. So, and most of the cases or most of the targets in our life are actually not achievable through 1, 2, or 3 iterations. They are things that you would have to work on for life. These are things that you would have to continue to work step by step and never stop. And one fine day, you'd be able to see that you have achieved what you really wanted to years and years ago. That was what I had for today. I'm Usman Ashraf. Thank you so much for being an amazing audience. You are wonderful. Thank you.